I hope you guys have configured this particular port forwarding which I have explained yesterday on your system. Okay. Any
Yeah.
challenges when you have configured this?
So today's my today's my first day in class. So he said this is a demo for me. So I have not. I don't know anything about virtual machine.
Okay. See, it's like, okay, I will share you some video. The only thing what we have done is we created a virtual machine from Oracle Virtual Box. And on this particular virtual machine, we have installed Ubuntu operating system to practice the Linux operating system. Okay. So we have discussed only few commands, maybe hardly 15 or some 16 commands. That's all, not more than that. Okay. And then we are continuing from here, from that particular stage right now. So this is the current status of our sessions, what happened.
Okay.
I'll share those videos. You can contact the organization so they will let you know. Okay, what are the videos? So hardly you have to look into 3 videos, not more than that. I think anyway, tomorrow and day after tomorrow we'll not have any session. So you can go through that particular videos as part of this training program. What do you say? If you are okay to it.
Yes, sir. I'm okay.
Yeah. So now coming back to the point, so this is the command what we have to use in order to authenticate, means in order to access your virtual machine, since it is behind the NAT. I hope everyone has configured who has joined the session yesterday. So any challenges you have faced while configuring this port forwarding, which I have shown here, the port forwarding part. Any challenges
Yes,
or
for
everything is
me,
good?
yeah, for
Sir,
me, it displays like connections about it.
just a second, Harish. Is it Harish?
Yeah, Harish,
Yeah, Harish.
can I share my screen now?
Okay. But no, if you want to share the screen, you can. We can take a QA session. Not now.
Yeah, okay,
Any
fine.
theoretical challenges? Are you able to configure or
Mm,
not? First thing which I want to verify.
no,
No. Okay.
no,
We will see. End of the session
yeah,
for
okay,
sure.
sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me try to log into my virtual machine. Now, as I told you, I have logged in as test user. So who is the super user of this Linux operating system? The username is root. In Windows, how we have administrator, right? In Windows operating system, how we have administrator as a super user of that system. Similar to that in Linux, it is root user. He has full privileges on that particular system. Okay. Now, some of the commands we cannot execute by using this test user. For now, only assume that. We can do that, but there is a little bit, what is a concept of it. We call it a pseudo user. Since you don't know about user concept by now, so the simple thing is I want to switch from this particular test user to root user. What we can do for now, there are two approaches. One is su command, or we can use one is su command, or we can use sudo. Okay. So for now, I will be using sudo space hyphen I. Okay. Then give enter. It will ask you the password of the test user. So let me provide that. And then once it is verified, I have switched it to root user. Now, if I give who am I, it will give me root, not test user. Okay. Now, this is another thing what we have learned today. And let me share you one document related to Linux commands so that you can go through it. I think I have striked off. Okay. Now let us strike off what are the commands we have learned. We talked about IP command. So what is the purpose of this? If you want to see the network related information on your system in Linux operating system, earlier we used to use ifconfig. Now we are using IP command. Then the next one is ls command we have seen. Touch command we have learnt about it. pwd command we have learnt. mkdir command we have learnt. cd command as well. rm command, rmdir command, date command, w command, who am I, uptime. These commands we have learnt. And then any other command that I have teached you in this list? Yeah, free command I have talked about it. That's all. Not more than this. Yeah. So now let us see what is ping command. Okay. Now I gave you a system, Linux system for you. Now I want to know whether I'm able to talk to the internet or not. Means I want to see whether one of the IP address or one of the domain is reachable or not from my system. I just want to test it. Okay. In those conditions, we can use something called ping. Means try to reach it. If you are able to reach it, you will receive the response. Okay. So let us say I want to communicate to google.com. If it is Windows operating system, you will open the browser and you will type google.com and you will see the home page. From that, you will confirm whether you are able to access internet, means that particular website or that particular IP address or not. Then what about Linux operating system server? You don't have any dashboard to access any browser. We have only CLI. In those conditions, ping command will help you to let you know whether it is reachable or not. You can see I am receiving the response as well. This is the response from that particular target. Okay, how much time I got a response? It is milliseconds. Okay. Now, if you don't cancel it, it will be keep on running in the front end. You can see the command is keep on running. It's never getting stopped until you stop it manually. So how to stop this command? You have to hold the control button and give C, control C. You can see we have cancelled it. Now this is the statistics of the ping command for google.com. How many packets we have sent? Packets in the sense these many. So we have sent totally 18 packets, transmitted, which is nothing but sent. And you can see 18 packets response has been received. So there is no drop in the packet. If there is a drop in the packet, what does it mean? Your network is not stable. Your network is not stable. But here we can see 0% packet loss. Okay. So these are the statistics of your ping command. Okay. Now I have a requirement where I don't want to manually cancel this particular task like this. I don't want to pass any input from my keyboard to cancel this particular task. Automatically it should get stopped. In those conditions, for a ping command, we have to give an option called -c. I want to run only 5 pings, not more than that. After that, it should get stopped. Okay, just give like that. You can see exactly it will run 5 pings, not more than that. You can see fifth one, it will run and then it will stop. You can see exactly how many packets have been transmitted? 5. And we have received 5 as a response. So this is the option what we have to use to run count. C is nothing but count. Okay. If you really want to know the options, either we can use ping -help. You can see the plenty of options here. I have talked about -c. Where is it? You can see. Not capital C, small c. Stop after count replies. So after the number of replies that you have received, automatically I want to stop it. In those conditions, -c. Okay. So the next one, for example, I don't want to see this help option. I want to read the documentation of this particular commands, what I've learned right now. In those conditions, we have to use man page in Linux operating system. Man, let us say I want to see the document related of ping command. I don't want to use any internet and browser. Without doing that, in Linux operating system, if you want to open any documentation related to the commands, we can use man page, man space, and the command name. You can see what is ping command. Okay, what is a description? Why we have to use a ping command? What are the options we have? And the explanation of each and every option. And sometimes they will give you some examples as well. How to run ping command, what are the options are important for us. Okay, here you can see the documentation which is talking about how to utilize it. And if there are any bugs, who is the author of this particular development. All these informations will be stored in this particular man page. If you want to come out of this particular man page, Q for quit. If you don't come out of this particular manual page, you can see manual page for ping command. If you don't come out of it, you can't execute any commands. So Q for quit. You can see here Q for quit. M for help. So Q. Your man page has been closed. Again, you came back to the CLI. Okay. So we have covered ping command and we have covered man page as well. That is it. Next one. Now here, okay, let me do one thing. Okay. I have this particular file. I'll create one directory. Let us say DevOps. Okay. Under the DevOps directory, let me try to create one file. So under DevOps, so touch under DevOps, I want to create a file called two files. One is AWS and one is Azure. I've created like this. Now, my requirement is, I will let you know. Under this particular directory, I have some files. I want to copy this particular two files or maybe one file right now. That is AWS file, which is present under this particular directory to another path. In Windows operating system, what we do generally, if you want to copy paste a file or a folder, we just select this, Control C. Wherever you want to paste it, we will do Control V. Right? So these are the options what we use in Windows operating system. Then what about Linux? I want to follow the same approach here. For that, we have to use CP command, copy. Shortcut is CP. The command itself is CP. Okay. Now I want to copy a file which is present under DevOps directory, AWS. I want to copy to a directory called /temp. In Linux operating systems, there will be some particular directories which will be created. For example, in Windows, when you install your operating system, this particular directories will be created. You can see program files. Under the program files, you can see this one. Whenever you install some applications also, it will create automatically. So similar to that, in Linux operating system also, we have some particular directories. Okay, which are those? Let me show you. We call it as root directory. This is a root directory. Under that, we have these directories. We will talk about this particular directories later one by one. Okay, now it is not so necessary for us. Okay. Coming back to the actual point, I have a file under this particular DevOps directory. I want to copy it to /temp directory. I want to copy this particular file from here and I want to paste it here. How to do that? CP under DevOps. There is a file called AWS. So this is your source from where you want to copy it. That is called as source. Where you want to paste it, that is called as destination. So my destination is under /temp directory. I want to copy that file. If you want a same name while you are pasting here, no need to pass anything after this. Just leave that and execute the command. No, I want to give a different name. Here it is AWS under this particular directory in the source location. But when it is getting copied to the destination, I want to give a new name. Then what you're supposed to do? AWS demo, for example. but the content inside the file will be the same. You should not get confused. The file content will be the same, the data inside the file. But the only thing is the file name is getting changed when I'm trying to paste it on the destination. If you don't pass anything, it will create with the same name. If you want to change it, you have to specify the name. Okay, a simple thing, not too complex. Now we can see the file exists here and the file exists here as well with this name. Okay, now we can see the time has been changed. Why? Because, sorry, the time is the same. Will be the, oh no. Here it is, when I created this file, it is 7:18. But when I copied this particular file from here to the destination, it is 7:21. Okay, a simple logic. Now, another point. I will remove that file right now in the destination rm /temp. There is AWS dev. Now my requirement is I want to copy both the files. Sorry. Under this particular DevOps, I might be having two files or more than two files. I want to copy all the files from here to this particular directory. Then what you will do? Any shortcut that you know or any simple task? Anything that you guys know? Okay. So the command is cp under DevOps directory. I might be having one file or more than one file. I want to copy all of them. Then it is star. When you don't have a specific name, because every file will not have the same name, right? So I want to copy all the files. So it is called as wildcard. What we try to give is star, all. I want to copy it to /temp directory. And then if you see under /temp, you have both the files available. Okay, so let me remove them. I want to remove both of them. So AWS, Azure shortcut. Oh, sorry. I have to give the path right. /temp. Now both the files have been removed. Okay. Next, another task. Now, what about if I want to copy a directory? I want to copy this particular directory. Under this directory, you might be having some subdirectories or you might be having some particular file. Okay. Now I want to copy the entire directory to the target location from this particular source to the destination. Then we can give cp DevOps, this directory. I want to copy it to /temp. Okay, enter. If you want to rename it, you can just give DevSecOps, whatever the name you want on your destination. What happened? Omitting directory. Oh, you can see what it is trying to say. CP command -r is not specified. Why it is asking you to give an option called -r? Because you are trying to copy a directory, not a file. CP command without any options, it can only copy a files, not a directory. So if you really want to copy a directory, then we have to use -r. Because under this particular directory, you might be having some files. You want to copy along with them, right? So recursive. In those conditions, we have to give -r and then enter. We can see now it is successful. If I go back, here we have the directory and the files. Similar to that, here also we will have the files. You can see here. So in this way, we can copy the directories as well. Just a second, guys. Okay. Now, so you can see the directory got copied. And this particular directory has copied all the files under that. As simple as that. The only thing that you need to remember is -r. When you try to copy a directories, when you copy a file, this option is not necessary. Okay. Any questions? In order to remove directory, we have to use -R, as we all know. Hence it got removed. So no questions. Then I will continue with the next one.
Yeah, Sudham, I have
Yep.
one more questions. Like
Yes.
ping command you are mentioned, right? That you are like sending the request to the server, right?
Yes.
So that is complete like look like a API request. We can say, right?
See, and one more thing here, I forgot to say. If that company has blocked, for example, google.com website has blocked the ping request, you can't sometimes receive the response as well. So every time we cannot rely on the ping command saying that if it is not reachable, it means that your system is not reachable. Maybe they might have blocked the ping request in the firewall. Yeah. Now let's talk about move command. Means in Windows operating system, we call it as cut and paste. Cut and paste in the sense what? If you want to remove the directory from one location and paste it in another location, then we have to go for cut paste in Windows. Here we call it as move, MV. I want to move it right, not copy paste. So MV. There are two reasons why, there are two activities that we can do with MV command. One is to cut and paste, and one is to rename the files. Okay, let me show you that. For example, I have created a directory with the name called DevOps. Under this, I have lot of files. Now I realize that my team members have told that it should not be DevOps, it should be something like DevSecOps. So will you delete the directory and create a new one and write all the files what are necessary? That doesn't make any sense, right? Instead of that, I can just rename this particular directory. In Windows, we can right click and we can use a rename option, right? Similar to that. So here the initial name is DevOps. Now I want to change it to DevSecOps. Now we can see the name of the directory has been changed from DevOps to DevSecOps. Content was not lost. This is what we have to understand. Okay, and this is one task that we can do with MV command. Next one is I want to move the directory from here to the target location. For example, it's done. You can see now it is not available here. It has been moved to this particular directory. Now tell me, again, I want to bring back this particular directory to my home directory of the user. How you will do it? Now you copied from your home directory of the user to the target location. Now from the target location, I want to copy it to my home directory. What you will do? Any guess?
Usually move command.
Sorry?
Usually move command.
Yeah, we have to use MV command only, no other choice. But what are the options I need to pass after that? Means how I need to execute that command.
Directly, I think what we have to move
What we have to give?
the particular character.
Okay. You meant to say DevSecOps?
Yeah.
Okay. But in the current working directory, we don't have DevSecOps, right? It is present under temp directory. So the simple thing is you have to interchange the source and destination. If you want to copy from your current working directory or from one directory to another directory, then we have to use source and destination. Now your source is this one and the destination is the current working directory. So we have to interchange, which means now the source will be this one and the destination is your current working directory. So what is the current working directory? There is a shortcut to represent that? I told you yesterday, previous working directory, current working directory.
CD, right?
CD is to
dot,
change it. Dot.
Dot.
Okay.
dot,
Dot is current
double
working
dot.
directory. Dot is
Okay.
previous working directory. So what is the
Okay.
meaning of this right now? From this particular path, I want to move the directory to my current working directory where I have logged in. Okay. So from wherever I'm executing the command, in the same directory, I want to move it. So then dot. Dot in the sense what? Current working directory. So in these kind of situations, these dot will help you a lot. Okay. Enter. Now we can see it has been moved from this particular directory to your current working directory. It is as simple as that. Interchange. Reverse condition, right? If you are copying from your source to destination, first always it has to be source and then destination. Now your destination will become source, source will become destination. Okay. It applies to the copy command as well. What are the things I've shown you right now? The reverse condition, it will apply to the copy as well. So this is all about move command. So either we can use it for renaming the files or to cut paste the files from the source to the destination. And we have learned about another command as well, that is time date CTL. If you remember, to change the timestamp on the system, we have learned about this one, right? So I forgot to mention here. And then just okay. Now what is host name? I told you, right, last time when we have installed the operating system while creating a virtual machine. Let me show you. While creating a virtual machine, we are passing a name here. What is this called? Name of the system, host name. Okay, not the virtual machine name. I'm talking about virtual machine name, you will pass it here. I'm talking about host name. We can also call it as device name in other terminology. Okay. So this is your operating system. This is called as host. Your host could be a virtual machine, a host. Host in the sense what? Where you have installed your operating system. Okay. Now that particular host can be a virtual machine or it could be a physical machine like PC, laptop, those kind of things I'm saying. Now for this particular host, you have set some name, that is host name. Simple. Okay. Now coming back to the point, how I can verify the host name? Either through command you can pull that, or if you look at this particular cursor right now, here there is a host name, but it is not a full host name. Sometimes it will show you only few number of characters. If you want to see your actual host name, either you can run this command, or if you want to see the full host name, -f. It is the same. Technically, I have only this particular thing as a name. Now you can use another shortcut as well, means another command as well, not shortcut, sorry. The command is host name CTL. Here, not only host name, it will print some other informations as well. You can see this static host name. And you can see chassis in the sense it is a virtual machine. Mission ID, boot ID. What kind of virtualization we are using right now? Oracle VirtualBox. So Oracle. What is the operating system we are using right now? Ubuntu 24.04.2 LTS. If someone is asking you what is the version you have installed or what kind of operating system you have installed, by looking at the screen, I cannot tell, right? Is it Windows? Sorry, is it Ubuntu? Is it CentOS? Is it Red Hat? Is it OpenSUSE? Sometimes we cannot understand. So this command will help you a lot to know which operating system you are using. And what is the kernel of that particular operating system? The version is 6.8.0-59-generic. This is the version number of the kernel. So kernel is the heart of the operating system. which will convert your human readable language into mission level language. I told you, right? We are using operating system. What is the reason for that? To convert human readable language into mission level language to human readable. But who will do the job in the operating system? Kernel. Okay, in any operating system, you will see kernel, whether it is Android, whether it is iOS, whether it is Windows or Unix, Mac, Linux, everywhere you will see this particular kernel topic. The kernel might be different, but kernel terminology will be the same. And what kind of architecture you are using? 64-bit. And you can see virtual box, firmware date, firmware age, and all this information is not necessary for us for now. Okay. So if you want to see some more information apart from the host name, you can give this command. Not only that, if I want to change the host name, earlier in older versions of operating system kernel, we used to reboot the system after changing the name of the host. Nowadays, it is not necessary. Even without rebooting the system, we can change the name of the host. How to do that? Same command, but we have to use an option called set-hostname. And what name you want to assign. For example, I want to give, let us say AWS DevOps dot way to techstack.com. I want to provide like this. And then enter. Now it has been changed. But you might have but you might have a question saying that why it is still showing you the old name. Any reason? Any guess? If you already know, that's fine. You can tell me. If you don't know about this, you can ignore. See, actually the command was successful. And if you want the proof, I will show you here. It has been changed. But here it is showing you the old name. Any reason for that?
You have to reboot
No, I don't want to reboot. That is my requirement, right? I told you with this command, there is no point of rebooting the system. Rebooting is not a solution, right? Why? Because if you reboot your system, think about real time. Your application will go down.
Yeah.
So that is not the case, right? The main purpose of this command itself is not to reboot the system, but to change the name of the host. My question is, why it is not reflecting here? Actually, the name got changed. So your job is done. But still, why it is showing you here on the terminal, why it is showing you the old name? Because you have already logged into the system. It is an old session. Whenever you try to log into the system, it will create a session, right? So it is an old session. If you want to see the new data, you have to log out, not reboot. You have to log out from this user. Either we can give exit or we can give control D. Hold the control button and give D. You logged out from the root user. Now let me re-log in. Sudo -i. We can see it will show you only this particular part. But if you want to see the full name, you can execute these commands. But you can see it got changed. You can verify it. Got it? Any questions now?
You have mentioned the shortcut, right? Could you please repeat it again? That instead
Which
of
shortcut?
exit command, control
Okay.
D, right?
One is exit. Either you can type exit or control D. Hold the control button and give D
Okay.
on the keyboard. It will log out from the session of the user. Yeah. So this particular part is done. Cat command we'll discuss. SCP command we'll discuss. Sudo command we have discussed, right? But not in detail. Only for switching from the test user to my root user, I have told you to use this command, but we can do other things as well. I'll let you know one by one. Okay. Next one is see if I'm executing this command right now, I'm able to see other informations as well, which is not necessary for my requirement. I want to print only the architecture of this particular system. Then I want to print only this particular value. I don't want to print anything else here. In those conditions, we have a unique command called ARCH, architecture. You can see to print the architecture of the system, we can use this command. It will print only that. No additional information will be there. Simple and easy, right? So that is all about this one. And I have another requirement that I want to know the kernel version. I want to print only this. You can use uname, enter, but here it is letting you know what is the operating system name. But I want to print this kernel version only. Then for this command, we have to use an option called -r. You can see the kernel version. Okay, I want to print the whole information, -a, all. You can see Linux, we can see the host name, we can see the kernel version, okay, and other details, architecture, and the timestamp, all this information. Okay, so this is how it is. Hope you understood. From this, if you want to print a specific output, you can change your options. Okay. And if you want to print this, you can also use this one. Same value. Next one. Which I think it will not work. Okay. So uname we have seen. Architecture we have seen. What is history command? For example, till now I have executed some commands. I just want to recall what are the commands I have executed on this particular terminal right now. If you want to see that, just type history. You can see these are the commands what we have executed under this user. Who am I? Ping command, we can see. We have executed all these commands from this root user. So that I can recall and I can I will come to know what are the commands we have executed. So that if I want to re-execute it, I will just copy that and I will execute here. Okay. So this is the history of the commands that you have executed. Now, if I want to remove this whole history, I want to clean up this history, then we have to use history -c. Clear. Now, if I execute history command, you see nothing. The entire history has been removed. The 58 lines that you have seen earlier, now it is showing you only one line. That too, the command what you have executed. That is also one history, which has been saved. Okay, now I hope you understood this one. A simple thing it is, to be frank. Now let me log out from the test user. I will re-log in again. Okay. Now if I execute history command, you can see the data. Again, it got restored. Now what you have understood from this, I cleared the history, but again, when I logged out and re-logged in, again, I can see the history. So what does it mean? What you have understood from this? Any guess?
Maybe that section.
Sorry.
Maybe that section. It will not show the history.
See, this is a temporary cleanup. Temporary cleanup in the sense what? Once you have logged into that particular session, if you run this command, that will get cleared. You can't see any history of the commands. Again, if you log out, the session got closed, right? Again, if you are logged in, the new session got created. When the new section got created, the history was restored. So where this particular history data was stored, somewhere it might have been stored, right, in the file by your Linux operating system. That is the reason why it is getting restored, right? So that is the actual fact. So this command will try to clean up temporarily. If you want to clean up permanently, you have to delete this particular data in a file where it is getting stored. Now that particular file is, it is a hidden file. Where it is getting stored? In a hidden file called bash history. Now if I try to cat that file, Means if I want to see the information of this particular file, in Windows operating system, we use Notepad, Notepad++, or Word editor, or PDF, or something like that. We use applications, right? But in Linux operating system, if you want to print the output of this particular file data on the terminal, we can use cat and the file name bash_history and then enter. You can see the whole data is stored in this history file. Now, if I try to do the cleanup, means I will try to make this particular file empty. Now it has some data. If I want to see the output in human readable language, I am not able to understand 760 in the sense what is it bytes? Is it kilobytes? Or it is a megabyte? I'm not able to understand. In those conditions, we can use another option called H, human readable. It is only 760 bytes. If you don't see anything, it is bytes. If it is kilobytes, it will show you like this. Okay. Now that is a unit. Now, if you don't see anything even after giving this, then it is bytes. Small amount of data, right? That is the reason why it is in bytes. 1 byte is equal to how many? What is the value? 1 byte is equal to 1 byte is equivalent to 1 bit. Sorry, 8 bits. 8 bit, 8 bits. 1 byte, or let us say 8 bits equal to 1 byte. Okay, and then 1024 bytes is equal to 1 kilobyte. 1 kilobyte. We call it like this. Okay, 1024 kilobytes is equivalent to, okay, is equivalent to
Megabytes.
1 MB, like that. 1024 MB is equivalent to 1 GB. Terabyte, petabyte, exabyte, like that. It will continue. Okay. So data will be calculated in this particular unit on the system. Now coming back to the point. Now if I want to clean up this whole history, then you have to empty this particular file. How to make this particular file empty? In Windows operating system, you will open through editor. You will use Control A, backspace, or delete, and then you will Control S and you'll close the file. Then what will happen? The file will become empty. Whole data will be lost. Okay. Now here, if I want to do the same thing by using cat command, only by using cat command, cat greater than symbol, space, and then dot bash rc, history, and then enter. Be careful, not this file. You have to do it on this file, history, and then enter and Control D. After giving enter, it is pointing in the new line, right? Now give Control D. What happened? The file has become empty. You can see now it is 0 size. Earlier it is 760 bytes. Now it is 0. Now you don't have any history. You can just see that. If I run the command, the session was already there, right? That's the reason you can see this data. Now let me log out and re-log in. And if I execute the command again, what are the commands we have executed to clear the history? Only that data got captured. Other data was lost. Okay. So this is how it is. The previous data was lost. Yes, Santosh.
With the help of nano command, we can do such operation, right, Sudham?
Sorry.
Nano command can we give and delete the
Nano,
history?
since you guys doesn't know about editors, right? Other people. See, those are editors.
Okay.
Nano, okay, VI, Vim, gedit. All these are editors. These are called as editors. File editors, we call it as file editors. What are the file editors for Windows? Notepad, Notepad++, Those are the file editors, right? In Linux, we have this one. So since you guys doesn't, means I have not teached about this one, that's the reason I'm choosing the cat command to show you how to clear the file. Okay. We can use echo command as well. That is also possible to do. All these are alternative solutions for the things which you have not learned. When I teach about this one, you can use that method as well. So our task has to be as fast as possible, and it has to be efficient. See, when you're working on an operating system, when you're doing a critical troubleshooting part, these shortcuts will help you a lot. See, when this situation will happen, means when you have to go for this particular shortcuts, when you are in a critical position, right? I have to troubleshoot as soon as possible. My client is waiting for that particular issue to be resolved. So I cannot use this traditional and old method of opening a file, line by line delete, close that file, come out of that. That will take time consuming, right? Okay, so in those conditions, you can use these shortcuts. I hope now this will be cleared.
Yes, thanks.
Any further questions? Okay. Now, so we talked about history and we talked about little bit about cat command, not full. So that's the reason I'm not striking out. I'll tell you. And then let me talk about, okay, print, echo, WC commands. Okay. WC is nothing but word count. For example, I have executed this command. Or let me try to print the data of this particular file on the terminal right now. So cat and the file name. You can see it is having some particular data. Actually, it is a shell script by Oracle VirtualBox. Post installation script actually. Let us not worry too much about this one. Okay. Now we have this particular file. I don't know how many lines it has printed right now. How many lines of data we have inside this file. Now I want to know about it. I cannot count each and every line one by one, right? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that. Okay, that will consume a lot of time. Or I cannot open that editor and read the lines one by one. Instead of that, we can use a shortcut called pipe symbol. Now this particular output of this particular file, now this command output, I don't want to print on the terminal. I want to give this output of the command to the next command. For that, we have to use pipe symbol. To do that particular task, this is called as pipe, the terminology. Okay. So this output of the command, we are not printing it. We are giving this particular output to the next command. Now, what is the next command? WC, because I want to count the number of lines of the previous output. So WC, word count. The full form of WC is nothing but word count. I want to print only number of lines. So -L is an option. Now enter. So how many lines we have in this file? 254 lines. Okay. Now I want to print how many number of words we have in that particular file. Word in the sense what? Before and after the characters, we will have a space. That is one word. See, this is one word, right? This is one word. Okay, this is one character. 1, 2, 3, 4. Space is also one character. And then 5, 6, all this. Characters are different, word is different, lines are different. Now I want to print number of words in that file. We have 882. Okay, I want to print number of characters. 7049 characters. I want to print all of them. Number of lines, number of words, number of characters at a time. Just WC. Don't pass any options. Number of lines always, number of words, and number of characters. Any questions? In this way, we can use this command to count number of lines, number of words, and number of characters. Any doubts or any questions on this? No? Okay. Next, echo command. I would say when you have written any programming language, how will you print a statement? Any language you pick, choice is yours. How will you print a statement? You know what is a statement? I think I don't need to explain even that as well. When you write in a graduation, when you write your C program, you want to print some statement, right? How will you print it? Do you remember?
Using print command,
Sorry?
using a print function in
Printf,
Python.
printf, scanf. To read the input, we use scanf in C language. To print the output, we use printf, right? Okay, similar to that in Linux operating system, if you want to print any statement, forget about scripting right now, shell scripting. On the terminal, I want to print some statement. Either I can use printf. This is a C language syntax because your Linux operating system is developed by using C language, C, C++, and other small languages as well. But the core is nothing but C and C++. So what are the syntax we have in C that will be utilized by your Linux operating system? Printf, or we can use echo. Any one of these two commands can be used in order to print a statement. First of all, let us talk about echo. Echo, I will pass some statement. This is a demo session for AWS DevSecOps. You know what is the meaning of echo, right? Whatever you say, you will receive the same response. So after echo, what are the statement I have passed? It got printed. Easy. Now remember, whenever you are trying to print some sentence, technically we have to use either double quotes or single quotes. But even though if you don't pass anything, it will print. Let me try to show you what is printf for this example. Okay, printf. Now you have to observe the output and tell me what is the difference that you have seen. Any differences that you see? I see some differences here from my side. What about you? If so, what is the difference?
This route at
Print,
AWS DevOps, the route
print,
and it converted into this route.
printf
Okay.
took the first one, first the word.
So it is not reading
This
this particular whole sentence. It has picked only this particular word and it got printed. That is the first thing, what I've observed. What is the next one?
And next line, it is not getting into the next line. When we
Exactly.
print the
In echo command, after printing a statement, your cursor will point in a new line. But whereas in printf, by default, it will print the sentence or what are the statement it is, and the cursor will point in the same line, not on the new line. So these are the two differences what we have right now in our example. Now, how to overcome this? I want to print the whole sentence. I don't want only the starting word. Then we have to give either double quotes. You have to place your sentence in the double quotes or single quote. Now we can see the whole sentence has been printed and the cursor is pointing on the same line. That's the default behavior of the printf. Okay, we'll talk about that, how to overcome it. Now either we can use single quotes. No change in the behavior. Okay, now let us talk about echo. Now we understood, right? For echo, it doesn't need like you have to pass double quotes or single quotes. Now, but when it is so important, but the thumb rule is whether you take any kind of language or what are the program it is, we have to give quotations. Mandate. Even in echo also we have to give it. For that particular scenario, it is not necessary. What about the rest of the scenarios? For example, here, I want to give here demo sessions, apostrophe s. Now, if I try to print, it will fail. Fail in the sense you can see it is expecting for another single quote to be closed. That's the reason why it is pointing like this. It is asking to close this particular quote. Okay, I will try to close that by giving another quotation. Now it got printed. But I want to print this particular sentence as it is, right? So whenever you have written this particular, opened the quotation, you have to close it. But here it is not a quotation. I want to print this sentence as it is. Then what you have to do is you have to keep this particular double quotes in the outside of the sentence. Your sentence has to be enclosed in the quotations. Now we can see this has been printed as it is. When you're writing single quote in the sentence, we have to close the sentence in double quotes, opposite. Okay. Another scenario. For example, I want to print this particular word as in double quotes. What happened? Now these double quotes have not been printed. Those have been ignored. Those have been ignored. But I want to print this sentence as it is. When you're writing double quotes inside the sentence, we have to keep your sentence in the single quotes, opposite. Now, what you have to do? Single quotes. This is as simple as that. When you pass these kind of special characters, we have to keep in double quotes. Okay. Or if you want to pass single quotes inside the sentence, enclose in double quotes. If you want to pass double quotes in the sentence, enclose the sentence in the single quotes. Opposite. Hope you got this particular point, what I'm trying to say. Now, I want to divide this particular sentence into two parts. I want to print this. This is a demos. This is a demo session. To learn AWS. Now I want to print this particular thing in one line and this particular thing in another line. Then what you're supposed to do? By default, it will print the whole sentence. But I want to divide that and print. Then here you need to pass /n. What is /n? It is a special character to print a new line. But your echo command will not understand that. It will not treat this as a special character. It will print as it is. But this particular thing should be treated as a special character, right? So you have to tell your echo command, this is a special character. How will you say that? By using an option called -e. And now we can see before this /n has been printed in one line, after the /n got printed in another line as expected. Now I got the output as expected. So to pass the special characters, we have to use -e. Yeah, someone is asking something. Okay. What about printf? It is not necessary. Printf understands the special character. That is the advantage what we have. You can see printf, it will print the first and the second. Second will be pointing on the same cursor. That's fine. But it got printed as our expected output. Printf by default understands the special character, but echo command does not. For that, we have to use an option called -e. Okay, any more questions in understanding the difference between printf and echo? Now, even if you want to print a new line after this particular second sentence as well, /n. Now it will look like a echo command statement. After printing this last statement, I want to point my cursor in the new line. So /n at the end of the sentence. How your echo command has printed that? It will print in the same way. I would say in this particular scenario, go for this one. I would recommend this one. But if you want to point your cursor in the same line after the last sentence, the recommended one is printf. So based on your requirement, you have to change your command. I'm not saying that always you have to use echo. You should ignore this printf, or you have to use only printf, not echo command. No. According to the scenario of the requirement, we have to change our options. Okay. So that is all about printf and echo. Now, I think for today, this is sufficient. Rest of the commands we'll discuss on Monday, and we will start our major topics. That is phase 2. Disk management, package management, user management, permissions management. These 4 topics we have to discuss. So it will take 4 days. And this one day for commands. So by next week, we will complete Linux, and upcoming week, we'll start our cloud computing. Just close this particular terminal and let me shut down the virtual machine. Yeah, other people can drop off if you don't have any questions or QA. Yeah, Harish.
Yeah, for me, I'm getting like this. Actually,
See, what is Ubuntu server? Is that username? That is hostname, right? What you have given. I told you username at localhost. What is your username of the system? I think yesterday you have given something like Harish, right?
yeah,
So give that.
but it also displays like that.
Okay, have you installed that package which I've shown
SSL.
you yesterday?
Uh,
I told you when you got this error,
sudo.
you have to install one package.
Actually, I already updated that.
You ran
Sudo.
only one command, right? I told you one more command as well after this. Have you executed that?
Yeah, I executed all those commands
No, no,
like
no.
SSH minus keygen minus A, right?
No, not this command. See, see, have you gone through the video?
No.
Then
Sudo system
clearly I've
ctl
written
start
there.
SSH.
First, you need to run apt update command. After that, you have to
Yeah,
run sudo apt install. Sudo apt install.
apt install open SSH minus server.
Yeah, you have to execute that.
Yeah, I executed this. This one
You already
only
executed.
that.
Say, I'm telling you. Let me complete. So you executed that command, but before executing apt update, it got failed. I can see that on the screen as well. So first you have to
Okay.
execute apt update command. After that, you have to execute that command. So now you please execute that. Give up arrow. No need to
Okay.
execute the command once again. Give up arrow. Up arrow. Again. Yeah, execute this one. Open SSH is not a space. Open SSH hyphen server. It is a continuous sentence. You
Yeah,
gave
okay.
open space SSH, right? Remove that space. Move the cursor to the left. Remove that space. Enter. That's the reason, guys, please watch the video. It is clearly written what to do. That will save your time. Now we can see it's going on, right? Give enter. Enter.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it got installed. Now give a try.
Yeah. So I have to execute in step by steps.
That's what. That's the
After
reason the
this.
recording got
Yeah.
created.
Yeah. Okay.
So guys, please go through the recording. So I'm saying you that why to waste your time? So unnecessarily the whole day got wasted, right? In practicing. So watch
Yeah.
the video.
Yeah. Okay.
First listen to the video, watch the video, then pause it, practice. I
Yeah.
recommend
Okay.
that.
Sure.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. We'll connect on Monday again.